And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of New Earth TV Live. We're still going to be doing another special edition of the Signposts. And the reason being is because there's been some new information that I've been receiving just to share with people today. So we'll be getting into that here very shortly. It does involve what we would term as government shutdown and also financial shifts. So we're going to be looking into that here very shortly. But of course, first and foremost, before we get started, we're going to go ahead and start off with some announcements.
Instead of forgetting to take 19,300
And of course, we have our bed kits, our healing code cards, our safeguards. These again is what I refer to as the top 3 products that are available on Etherics, right? So you can take a look here at the list, find out exactly what the benefits have been for our supporters, our customers who have been using them, right? So you again can go to etherics.co and you can check this out. We also have a 20% discount right now. And the discount code is all capital letters, August 20. Okay, that's August and the numbers 20. Okay, so all capital letters, all one word, August 20. And you can get 20% off the products that are available on Etherics right now. And of course, I have my own source necklace. So this is now available on etherics.co. What is special about this? Well, this contains the source center vibration. And it also contains the energy of a crop circle. So I can show you guys exactly what was retrieved from when I was in the UK. So I just got back from the UK a few days ago. And we were actually able to take this with us. This is a quartz stone that was found in the area of the crop circle that I saw. And it's basically what is called the all-seeing eye crop circle. If you go to a place like cropcircleconnector.com, you'll find newest crop circles. One of them looks like a big eye in the middle of a field, right? So we were actually able to retrieve this from the crop circle. And every time I put it in my hand, it feels like my hand is just ready to vibrate, right? It radiates very, very strongly. I got this other stone here, and this is from another crop circle as well too, that we saw. I saw 2 crop circles when I was in the UK. This one was from a crop circle that basically has 3 leaves, kind of like a triad in that way. It would basically represent a type of womb healing relating to the crop circle, right? So if you basically see a trinity or a triad leaf crop circle, that is where this stone came from. Okay, so they're strong. Feeling it in my hands. So through the Etherics Transcendental Codes, I'm able to capture the vibration within this stone and then being able to apply it directly into this symbol, which again is upon this stone. And that is exactly what is inside the source necklace here. So again, the source necklace is available. I'm also going to be doing a tutorial video about the source necklace as well too, about how you can use it. And it's very similar to if you have the Prana bed kit if you have the concentration mode. Well, that's basically what this is all about with the source necklaces. Source necklaces basically enter a type of concentration mode because you're going to be communicating with it, right? If I'm basically just putting my hand right here, channeling the energy through me, and if I'm basically wanting to work on my heart, then I'm basically just feeling that energy shrouding the heart, right? The source vibration, as well as the pure life force energy of the crop circle, which has some very magnificent healing properties. There was a student of mine who was part of the group in the UK. He was in the crop circle, and he also retrieved a stone from the all-seeing eye crop circle. And as soon as he held that in his hand, he could see 20/20 vision, right? He had glasses. He was able to take his glasses off. As long as he held that stone in his hand, he could see 20/20 vision. It's quite interesting. Okay? So again, this represents that crop circles have very unique healing properties, the genuine ones, right? Not the ones that Bob and Dave, right, the two British men who go out with boards and rope and try to knock down wheat. No, those are not the genuine ones. I'm talking about the ones that are basically created with advanced cymatics using extraterrestrial technology. So those are the ones that are genuine, and you can feel it basically a mile away, right? When I started walking up to the crop circle, I could feel the energy in the air. The air is potent with the radiant vibration. It is so incredibly powerful. And that's exactly what's imbued in this stone with the source vibration necklaces. So again, those are available on etherics.co. Later today, I'm also getting the insoles. Okay, this is what's known as the earthing technology for etherics, where you're basically taking the earth energy, putting that into the insoles that fit directly into shoe. There's various sizes that I will have available as well too. And of course, that is going to be available. We'll be talking more about that. I'll be putting that up on the website before Friday. So looking forward to sharing that with you guys as well too. So we got new stuff coming through etherics.co. It's going to be very awesome. Bringing the new insoles because people have waited for that for quite some time. Okay. And of course, Odyssey back up here. Everything on New Earth Teachings channel here is backed up onto Odyssey. Odyssey.com/@NewEarthTeachings. All right. So why don't we go ahead and get started with our event today, with our webcast. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me on YouTube here. I see many of you on the chat. Welcome. Some of you are already asking questions. That's great to see. We'll be getting to questions here in just a little bit. We're going to firstly just go over some of these particular forms of stories that have been coming to me. The very first one is something I've felt for a bit of a time, okay? And I've actually been seeing a couple other people online talking about this as well too. I said, oh good, well people are actually starting to get what I've been getting for a while. I think I had this vision maybe about a year or two ago, might have been a couple years ago in that way. Basically about the times ahead, representing government shutdown. Okay, basically what that means is it's like, think of it in the idea of the COVID era where you would just go inside a building and nothing was there. It was just completely and totally empty. Well, that is basically what is going to be happening, specifically for Canada and the United States here. And basically what's happening is if you're looking inside Congress, if you're looking inside the legislature, if you're looking inside all these government buildings, they're completely empty. There's nobody inside, right? So basically what's happening is that there's going to be some sort of very large campaign that is going to take place that is basically going to create a complete and total government shutdown. Now, a lot of people say, Brad, when? When is this happening? When is this going to happen? Okay, I really can't give you guys exact dates because even going back a couple of years ago, when I had this vision, it was just something that is definitely going to happen, but there was really no stamp, there was no time stamp in regards to the date, okay? But if we basically look at Mr. Justin T. from Canada, basically he is in a state of complete and total loss. I feel like it's the end of the road for him. If we look at Mr. Joe B. from the United States, I would say the same thing as well too. This is a complete and total government shutdown. And all I could estimate, all I could really do, guys, is just give you rough estimates. I'm not here to say, okay, put a timestamp on this and this is exactly when it's going to happen. No, all I can really do is just giving you a feeling, right? Because the event is already in the ether. right? And it's going to come about. It could come as soon as tomorrow. It could come as soon as next month. It could just come in the next few months, okay? But the feeling I was getting, and this is just my intuitive response, is that it'll be around the time that Mr. Donald T. returns as president, okay? And if he isn't returning as president, then there's someone who's going to continue his path, right? So it's either him or someone who is going to continue his path that will basically come into a new leadership position, and there is going to be some type of order or exposure that is going to take place that is going to cause pretty much everything pertaining to government, pertaining to Congress, pertaining to everything representing the governmental channel. And it is going to lead to a complete and total empty building, right? So you're looking at the whole nature of the House of Representatives. You're seeing many of these political buildings, these political, I guess you could say meetup areas, are basically just completely bare. There's nobody there whatsoever. It is completely empty. And this is, again, what we would call the very large transitional shift that I'm seeing that there are politicians that are going to come in that are completely new, completely kind of like a clean slate. So I could see that the idea maybe of Republicans and Democrats here in Canada, right, with their own political parties, I feel like everything is going to be going through a major overhaul. Again, all I have as an estimation is it probably will be next year, okay? And I don't know if that's 100% for certain. It could still happen this year as well too. But I feel like it's going to be a point to where Mr. Donald T. comes back into a position of presidency where he will basically give this command, and pretty much the government is going to be shut down, and it's going to be shut down temporarily, okay? And I feel like that is going to reverberate into Canada at the same time. Again, guys, all I'm talking about right now is Canada and the US. I'm not talking about Europe or Asia or anything of that nature. This is news for the Western world, okay? I'll be getting to more of your guys' countries as well too here in a little bit through Q&A, but this is really what I'm getting for the US and for Canada. Okay, so basically there is going to be some large government shutdown that is going to be taking place. Political buildings, government buildings are going to be completely and totally devoid of any activity whatsoever. It's like looking at the COVID era where everything was in quarantine, okay? And this is basically what it feels. It feels like a government lockdown. It feels like a government shutdown. There are no politicians in the House whatsoever. It's bone dry, okay? That's really what I've been getting for quite some time, for a couple of years past. And it just feels like, again, this is all part of the people standing up. This is all part of the people taking action. And then the momentum of these events are the results of us standing up. The results of people, again, standing tall and taking the power back into their own hands and seeing a manifestation like this coming together. So again, all I can really do is just give you soft impressions of when this may be taking place. But I am definitely seeing it because I've already seen a couple of people online also talk about this and say, oh, good. Someone's kind of getting that feeling like I've gotten a couple of years back, right? But I'm feeling that the momentum right now is getting quite close. And like I said, I feel like this is going to lead into a whole new presidency. This is going to lead into a whole new leadership position. And this is going to lead into the idea of a government shutdown, okay? And when that happens, everything is going to significantly change. This is basically the end. This is the straw that broke the camel's back as it relates to the old guard, as it relates to the dark cabal, whatever you want to call it, okay? Many names for it, but basically that is the straw that breaks the camel's back, is that there will no longer be this position of power. My guess is that there's probably going to be some very significant, some very damaging exposures that are going to be coming here in the next little while, where politicians are going to run and hide. I would say the idea of parties in that sense are going to be exposed. I don't know if it's both parties, but there's going to be kind of a crippling effect that is going to take place from the other side, that is going to lead into politicians basically trying to run and hide, but then getting caught, okay? So this is really what I've been getting for quite some time, is just looking at these political buildings, looking at these meetups that are now these places where politicians meet, is bone dry. It's completely empty. There's no one in the building. This is regular hours, okay, from Monday to Friday. Nobody's in it. it's a complete and total empty house. And so that's really what's coming down the pipe. Secondly, we're going to see some major financial shifts. Okay, so I think that there's going to be some very powerful financial exposures that are going to be taking place as well too. And again, I'm noticing other people talking about this as well too, where there will be the dreaded ATM frantic behavior situation that is going to be happening. People are going to try and get money out of ATMs, and ATMs will not be able to deliver money. There will be a shortage relating to money as it relates to trying to get money out of the ATMs. Okay, and I think this may impact the entire planet. So I don't think this is just for Canada or just for the US. I think that there's going to be something that's really just a B shell, I guess BOMB shell that is going to go off, that is basically going to cause people to try and want to take money out of their bank accounts very, very quickly, but the ATMs won't have enough, and basically there's going to be a lot of frantic behavior. It kind of reminds me when COVID was first starting to begin. What was it that was very frantic for people to buy? Toilet paper. Okay. So in this situation, what is it that people are frantic to release is their own cash. Okay. So what I would suggest to you guys right now, start taking money out of your banks. Okay. Start taking money out now, because I don't know exactly when this is going to happen. It would be a good idea to start taking money out of your bank accounts, just making sure that you have some cash on hand. Okay. Between now and probably the next 6 to 9 months, we will probably start to see that happen. We'll probably start to see again more exposures taking place, more crippling blows to the old systems that are going to result in, again, the complete and total distrust of the banks and trying to release as much money as possible. Okay, so relating to government shutdown, relating to this financial shift, this is what I feel is happening. And the good news is this is going to be very, very short-lived, right? With the idea of a government shutdown, very short. When it comes to the idea of the ATMs not getting enough cash, very short, okay? But this is something that could happen. There are other people who are also suggesting that the borders between Canada and the US would be locked up again. This is not because of a virus, though. This is because of a manhunt, okay? And it basically has to do with the rest of the criminal cartel going down completely. There's going to be some type of sequence of events, I would say. It's not really just one big event. It's really a sequences of events that are going to be taking place here in the next little while, where again, not just politicians, but basically these criminal cartels around Canada, around the United States. I'm sure there's, again, the ones that will reciprocate around Europe and Asia and so forth, that are going to be taken down majorly. What I can feel is that both the Canadian and the American military are basically lying in wait. Okay? They're ready to pounce. So it's like looking at a chessboard, and here's the king, and you got all of these forces, the other side, that is just waiting for the word. It's like, you just give me the word, and we'll pounce on him. You just give me the word, and we'll take them down. That's basically what's happening right now. Okay, the Canadian military is ready to do this with Mr. Justin T. The American military is ready to do this with Mr. Joe B. Okay, they are ready. They're like ready to pounce. Okay, and they just need to get the word and say, well, not just yet, right? We have to strategically do this. We have to strategically put our pieces together, and then they basically make a false step. As soon as they make that false step, strike. And that's exactly what's happening, because they've already basically taken down many of the other pieces on the board, where it's really now just the king that is vulnerable. And now they're basically just getting ready, right? It's like looking at a cheetah, right? Just hiding behind the bush, ready to tackle this gazelle. And that's what's happening here. We're just getting ready to pounce. You just give me the word. Just give me the word. We'll get them. We'll get them, right? That's really where we are right now. Okay, so basically, especially these past couple of years, there's been the effort to really take down the defending pieces of the king, right? So now the queen's taken down, now the knight is taken down, now the rook is taken down, now the bishops are taken down, the rest of the pawns are getting taken down, and really all that remains on the board right now is the king, right? And here's the counter forces right here, just all surrounding. They're all strategically placed together. So you go ahead, you just move. You move the king piece. You see where you step. As soon as you step, boom, you're done. Checkmate. Okay? So we are basically in a state of pre-checkmate. That's really what's happening right now. So like I said, I feel like the rest of 2023 is going to play out more of these exposures that are coming together, right? It is a year of reset because we are seeing gigantic shifts taking place. It is a year of introspection. We've basically come into the final countdown. I'm not trying to play that Europe song, okay? But we are really coming much, much closer to the nature of checkmate. And that's really what I'm seeing here. So yes, there's going to be a big financial shift. And I think whatever is happening, this is welcoming in the new financial system with open arms after this short kind of blitzkrieg pertaining to people not being able to get money in ATMs. Okay, so this is what I would suggest right now, is to just be aware, right? Again, you got to read the signposts, right? So exactly why I call this the signposts. You have to read the signposts and get an idea. Okay, there's some stuff going down here with banking cartels. There's stuff going down here with banking situations, and there's going to be scandals, right? But it's kind of funny because imagine if I was going back in time into 2019, and just before 2020 starts, I start coming on here and I say, okay guys, so here's what you need to know. You need to know that there's going to be a massive worldwide lockdown because of a virus that doesn't even really exist. Brad, you're out of your mind. You're nuts. You're insane. You can't really mean that. You're telling me that the entire world is going to get locked down, that we can't even go outside, that we really can't even go to stores, that people are going to be, completely locked inside their homes relating to this gigantic shutdown over something called COVID-19. What are you smoking? Are you on crack? Okay? That's basically where I am right now. As I feel like I'm sharing this with you guys right now here in 2023, and that very soon we're going to see this whole idea of government cartels, of political buildings being completely emptied, of the idea in that sense of having a difficult time being able to get money out of ATMs. Brad, are you nuts? Is this a joke? Are you crazy? Okay? That's kind of where I feel I am right now. Okay? But this is the whole idea of what I'm getting. And it's not just me. Okay? It's others that are also saying this as well too. So like I said, you take it as perspective. You take it for what it is. I'm not trying to scare anybody, because really this is all part of something very positive that is going to lead into a significant amount of change, right? But as I've always said, it's not really about what you see in the world. It's not all about the idea of what these leaders are doing it that way. What matters the most is how you're governing your life and how you're working together, right? But we are going to be seeing complete and total political lockdown. We're going to be seeing complete and total government shutdown. Again, around the US and Canada. I feel, of course, around Europe and Asia, it will probably domino effect over there as well, too. It may even happen there first, and then maybe come over here as well, too. But really what I'm getting is that when I've had this vision, it was really surrounding the idea of Canada and the United States, that the people will stand up so much that this is going to lead to complete and total defeat of the government as we know it. This is going to lead to the complete and total defeat of the monetary system as we know it. This is going to lead to the complete and total defeat of the financial three-ring circus that we are aware of today, right, is all going to be plummeting down. It's all going to be like a house of cards. We are just knocking it over with a mighty right hand. All of the cards are going to fall. And there's going to be reconstruction. There's going to be rebuilding, right? So my feeling is that, again, if it's either Mr. Donald T. or if it's somebody else, whether it's that, but again, even if it is somebody else, it's still someone that's going to follow in his footsteps, right? So whether it's him or whether it's another, it's still representing that idea of a counterforce plan, and that they're basically looking to come in and basically completely overhaul everything regarding the political arena, the political structure. And again, this may lead to a temporary lockdown of certain borders for a very small amount of time. It won't be 3 years like what we went through with COVID. It'll be very, very short. I would say anywhere maybe from 2 weeks to 2 months. Okay, so that's, again, is just something that I was getting today, something I wanted to share with you. Like I said, not even today. I basically have had this vision in my head for the past couple of years when I was looking very deeply, because I was seeing the people standing up. I was seeing things like a freedom convoy coming together. I was seeing, again, much more shakeup. I was seeing much more exposure. I was seeing the idea that the counter forces are hammering the other side so hard, right, that again everything is just going to buckle, everything is just going to bust, everything pertaining to the political arena is going to cascade, everything is going to basically shut down pertaining to the political side of things, and even very temporarily with the financial side of things. I don't think it relates to the idea of a stock market crash. I think this is something of a greater exposure that's coming, but Spirit always likes to surprise us. Okay, so all I'm suggesting, guys, is be aware of the signposts that are coming to you, and being aware of this whole financial situation. Like I said, it might be a good idea to start taking some money out now, right? And just having that in a safe, in a vault, right, whatever it is you have at home, and just keeping that at hand. Because I feel like in the next few months, again, I don't have an exact date here, but in the next few months, I think as we get into 2024, we're going to see that majorly happen. Okay, political shutdown, government shutdown, financial shifts, temporary closure of the borders. Okay, we're going to see those just very, very shortly. Again, short-lived, just so that there is something new that's coming together. This is all planned. And like I said, this has been planned since the very beginning. I would say at least going back before the time of COVID. Right? And now just ready to have all the pieces on the board and just waiting, lying in wait, because the Canadian military is ready to take down, I would say, the old guard. Okay, the American military is ready to take down the old guard. They are lying in wait, and they're kind of getting cues from each other. So just wait, hang on, hold on. I could take him right now. We know you could take him right now. We don't want you to take him right now. We want them to make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, that's when we pounce, right? Because they're basically in the alignment right now to make nothing but mistakes. But there's a big mistake that comes, and that's when we grab them, right? I've also talked about the nature of a hoax alien invasion, right? It's basically what that whole UFO hearing thing was about. It basically was a psyop, right? I mean, it's good that they brought forward, extraterrestrial confirmation, but it's nothing but a psyop to basically try and bring about their granddaddy event pertaining to a hoax alien invasion. But this will fail miserably, right? They're not going to get at all what they want. In fact, that may be the last nail in the coffin for them to basically fall apart completely then and there. Okay, because there's a lot of talk all over the internet right now about ETs, right? About the idea of extraterrestrials and how oh my goodness, there could be a national threat. They're a threat to the United States of America. Blah 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 blah, right? And it's nothing but a charade. Okay, it's great that they brought forward this type of disclosure, but they're using it to their own means. Here's disclosure. Okay, let's turn it on its head, and let's try and engineer a new form of economical war out of this. Okay, and so again, that is what is going to be just going to lead to, again, another nail in the coffin for the final nail, really, because that is their granddaddy event, right? If COVID didn't work, if climate change isn't working, then basically we go to the granddaddy event and we go to a hoax alien invasion. And that's what we're basically trying to do here through this UFO hearing. And it's a bunch of garbage, right? Does it pose a threat, blah, 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 right? And this is ridiculous. So again, be very wary about things like that. Like I said, it was interesting that they now played this card, but it was very much on par to what Adronis was saying, that come around the time of this summer, there will be further conversations pertaining to the extraterrestrial presence, and it manifested together in this way. All right. So again, guys, that is the information I wanted to share here through the signposts. We're now going to go ahead and go into Q&A. So if you guys do have any questions, basically on anything, it's fine. I would just say no personal questions, okay? But semi-personal or general questions, but based on any topic, is fine. Like I said, I've never really cared too much about this political information, but I do it because you guys want to hear it from me, right? So that's why I'm doing it. And Spirit will often say, just go ahead and do it. Doesn't matter, right? At least they're hearing it from you. So, all right, let's go ahead and get on the chat. I got a donation here from Gijo. Like I said, it can be any conversation at all. It can be political, it can be spiritual, etc. So Gijo Matthew here says, hello, dear Adronis, can you please speak about Patanjali's Yoga Sutras? Are the sutras a set of instructions for interfacing the mind with machines? Okay. Very interesting question there, Gijo, I should say. Sorry. I haven't really heard a question like that based upon that particular angle before. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and see what Adronis has to say. Are the sutras a set of instructions for interfacing the mind with machines? Okay, here we go. Terra, Soul Star, Sirius, Adronis, we are here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I'm Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this transmission brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. What we'd like all of you to do at this time is simply allow yourselves to get relaxed, get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations of Sirius, so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all of the information that we have to share. Also understand that all of the information that we shall provide to you today is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very hearts, beings, and souls. We want to thank you very much for your question pertaining to Patanjali and relating to the nature of the Yoga Sutras. Now, is this an instrument? Is this a, shall we say, textbook that would represent the idea of the mind being interfaced through the nature of machines? Well, again, you're looking at it in a singular purpose here. Because the whole idea is that yoga, in that nature, truly is an open source platform. It is a platform that can move you into higher states of discipline. Now, certain people may see it that way. Certain people may see this as some type of hypnotic tool. Some people may see this as a way to interface the mind with machines. There is a possibility for that. But again, if you are trying to condemn the nature of yoga in regards to one fixated thing, then you're thinking in a very, very narrow way. The whole idea in regards to the nature of yoga is the nature of union. That's really what it entails. But the increments relating to how you decide to use yoga can branch off into different aspects of life. It can be used for hypnosis. It can be used for mind control. It can be used to work, again, shall we say, even in what you would know as black arts. You see, again, it's like a tree with all of these different branches. It is not about the practice itself. It is about the one who is utilizing that practice. Patanjali was simply being able to work together and attempt to give, as you would say, a particular type of moral side relating to the 8 limbs of yoga. That this would help one to basically encourage themselves to grow, to mature, to be responsible, to be loving, to look at this through compassionate service, to look at this through compassionate application. That simply was his intention. But he also realized that yoga has many limbs, again, as you would say, the 8-limb system, but we'd say it even goes beyond that. These limbs can touch any particular branch of life. So it's not looking at it in the idea of a narrow view, to where it feels like this is something to interface the mind together with machines. That's one possibility. But again, if you are looking at it together in all of the branches that it holds, it can take you anywhere. The entire science of yoga, truly in its magnificence altogether, is to help you to return back into the union of the divine, the union of God. But as we said, it can take different paths. It's not about the practice. It's about the one using it. All right? We thank you very much for your question. Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Matthew, for your question. All right, let's go through the list here and see how everybody's doing here today. Okay. So here's at the very top of the list. Again, if you guys have questions, feel free to put your questions there. If you want to leave a donation, that will put your question in priority. Eve Mills says, "Hi Brad, could you ask Adronis if he could discuss the Tibet situation?" I did get another donation here, so I'll get to the donation question here very shortly. Discuss this Tibet situation. Why does the Chinese government mistreat the people so much? Is it because of Shambhala? Okay, so I will get to that question first with Eve, and then we'll get into Z-Man's question here regarding his donation. So let me just take a moment to bring Adronis in. 1 moment. We thank you very much for your question pertaining to the nature of Tibet. Why has it been having such a hard time relating to the nature of China? Is there some type of prophecy that is coming together to which China is afraid of? Well, there's an element of that, but it really comes down from the Chinese perspective. It's a matter of greed. It's a matter of robbing resources. It's the idea of attainment through wealth. Tibet holds a great deal of wealth to it. And it's not so much in the nature of prophecy. Again, that represents some aspect to it. They, again, are quite aware with the nature of such prophecy that may relate to the nature of their doom, relating to their current state of government. But really what they have been doing is that they have been sniffing out the resources, the rich resources that Tibet itself holds. That's really what this is all about. It really just comes down to greed. It really comes down into territory. It really comes down into control. It really comes into the idea of robbing resources. That's really what it comes down to. But yes, there can be those in that sense who feel that this is something prophetic, that this is something that they may try to change, and it hasn't been the idea of feeling that they have not considered that. But the whole idea in that sense is that once these particular prophecies are given, that may be quite daunting in that way. It's that they will try to do everything they can to try to avoid it, but what the path they take that tries to avoid these things is the very path that is taken that will lead to the end of their reign. You see? Their attempt to avoid what has been, shall we say, predicted for them, going back into ancient times, relating to the downfall of their empire, and the idea of them hearing that, and being able to try to take a course in avoiding that from happening is actually the course they take that leads to that result. Something to consider. All right? Thank you for your question. Okay. Thank you very much for your question. So this is from Z-Man here. Z-Man says, will house prices reset to reasonable prices when the financial system resets? If not, when or how will this happen? I have been getting that in the past, okay? So basically you need to look at the idea of what we term as the reset, okay? So I basically refer to 2023 being the year of reset, but it could extend a little bit past beyond 2023 into 2024 because we certainly, like I said, looking at that chessboard, all the pieces are arranged to making that new financial system come together. Like I said, all that's left on the chessboard right now pertaining to the dark forces, so to speak, is their king. Okay, all the other particular pieces on the board have been seized. Okay, so like I said, it's like a cheetah that's basically just behind a bush, ready to pounce, but they have to get the word. They have to get the go-ahead, and that's really what's happening right now. Right. So there's been this time right now for the past little while of all these other pieces needing to be taken down, and it really is now at the point where the king is vulnerable. Okay, but all these pieces are gathered around and they're just waiting for them to make a stupid move. Okay, so once that happens, well, the idea of house prices reset, everything is practically going to reset. Right, when it comes down to the nature of the financial system, not only will houses move into a whole new orientation of price range, food, everything, right? Something brand new is going to come about. And I've only gotten feelings from this, right? I feel like the whole idea is that the whole income tax is going to be abolished, right? It's going to be something that right now you couldn't really believe. And this is why I've kind of reserved myself about not talking about it too much. Because if I come on here and say, oh guys, you know what? You're not going to be able to pay income taxes anymore. Taxes are going to be abolished. The entire housing market is going to be changing. Food markets are going to be changing. Everything is going to start moving together through people's favor. Brad, come on. That's wishful thinking. That's a pipe dream. There's no way that's going to happen. Look at the corruption in the world right now. Right? And that's basically what I would get. And that's fine. It's just me sharing a perspective, right? But I've reserved myself from showing that too much. Because, again, it's just something that people just may not be able to swallow down right now. okay? And I think people still will not be able to swallow down until these events, like what I talked about earlier, are really going to happen, right? We have to kind of reach that point of breach. Once that point of breach is reached, the reach of the breach, the breach, okay? Then people will start to swallow these things down a little bit. It's like I said, if I came back here in 2019 and started talking to you guys about COVID, about everything that would happen with COVID, you guys would think I'm nuts. You guys would think I'm insane. This is a pipe dream. This is nuts. This is, I don't know what you've been doing with the Drones. Have you guys been slamming down hooch or what's going on here? Right? None of you would really believe it, or maybe a few of you would, but the majority certainly would not. Okay? And that's where I feel like I'm positioned right now. Is I feel like I'm, and Adronis has even talked about this too, is it's the start of something very, very brand new. Something very big that is on the horizon that is going to completely change the entire landscape. And that's what we're about to witness. We're about to experience that. That could be a couple months away. That could be up at the end of the year. That could be the start of next year. Again, I don't have a timestamp for this, right? But basically, when we see this financial collapse, because you can't even get money out of ATMs, then that's letting you know that a new system is coming into place, okay? So that is really what is happening, right? I've been talking about the nature of the a new financial system, feeling again maybe around late 2023. It could even stretch right into early 2024. I don't like putting timestamps on this, but I know you guys insist that I do. But even when I do try to put estimates of approximate timestamps, please don't take it at face value, okay? These are just approximation. The events are there. When they start to move from the ether into the material, then that's when we see them, right? There's that reach, the reach for the breach, okay? So when you basically are at that point of breach, you now realize, okay, well, it doesn't seem so far-fetched right now. The beginning of COVID happened, there's lockdowns. Okay, well, it doesn't seem so far-fetched now that the entire world is locked down. Okay, so that's really where we are right now. We're basically just at the pre-point of breach. Okay, a new breach that is going to come, that is going to lead to government shutdown, that is going to lead to financial shifts, that is going to lead to a little bit of turbulence. But again, it is going to be very short-lived. Okay, so again, it could happen next month. It could happen in the next couple of months. It could happen early next year. Right? My feeling is just the idea that it is through a new presidency. Okay, but that's really my feeling of it, and it's my own perspective. So that's really what I can share. But yes, house prices, resetting, everything pertaining to the market is really going to go through a massive reset. And like I said, I could see that we're going to see the abolishing of income tax. We're going to see the abolishing of taxes, right? Because again, this may start to move things together where the nature of independence may start to come together. Remember, as I said, when you start seeing states, provinces, countries starting to wave the independent flag, that is where there is a very promising time ahead. That is where we can see the idea of the end of taxes and all that stuff. Okay, house markets resetting, all of that. Everything starts to move into a nature of independency. And I feel like that's going to be coming. I don't have a date for that, guys. Please don't ask me. But everything that's coming together right now is pointing in that direction, right? And we're right on course for that. So Z-Man, that's what I can share in regards to your question about financial reset and pertaining to housing costs. Okay, good question too. Thank you for that, by the way. All right, let's go down the list here a little bit more. And again, welcome, guys. Looks like we got a lot of people coming on here today in regards to this conversation. Okay. Kelly Duffy asked something about a certain individual. I can't say stuff like that, guys. I'm not here to give my opinion on people in regards to what they're doing, right? Sometimes I have given my professional opinion with people, but I'm not looking to do that on a stage. So Kelly, I have to kind of omit your question for right now, okay? What my take is on a certain person, I really can't share that publicly, okay? And I'm not going to. It's not about me saying, oh, this person's wrong and I'm right, or this person's right and I'm wrong, or anything of that nature, right? Everybody has their own perspectives, and it's just not something I'm going to share in regards to a person, okay? But thank you for your question, guys. Qigong Master says, when will the next Etherics live stream take place? I'm probably going to do one this weekend, okay? So I'll keep you guys informed about the next Etherics live stream. Should be coming up this weekend. I'm probably thinking maybe on a Sunday. Carol Ann Smith, oh wait, that's your same. Sending lots of love from New York, thank you very much. Some people say no sound, but looks like everything's okay on my end here. Sound is fine on computer, okay, great. So this one here is from Maria Rice. Maria says, what messages do you feel the crop circles you visited were conveying? Well, if I look at the all-seeing eye, it basically tells me about a state of awakening. It's showing me how humanity is now starting to wake up. Their eye is now starting to open. Okay? The second crop circle, and basically with that particular crop circle tuning into it, it was of a Syrian origin. Okay, so I'm talking about the star of Sirius, Sirius. Okay, just tuning into that crop circle, because a lot of these genuine crop circles, most of them are extraterrestrial. Okay, and that was a Syrian crop circle, to where this particular stone here belonged to. So I have to thank my girlfriend Brienne, was the one who picked up this stone. Right? So this is the one from the all-seeing eye crop circle. Like I said, just go to cropcircleconnector.com. You may see that one. Even if you go to etherics.co, you'll see the little crop circle picture that I have alongside with the source necklace. Yeah, so you'll know which one I'm talking about. This one I have not put on etherics.co yet, but again, this one relates to the triad leaf crop circle. Okay, so basically seeing 3 leaves, like in the form of a knot, right? The Trinity. And this would represent, someone was telling me that it's much more feminine. It was much more about womb healing in that way. Healing the womb of the earth in that way. So these are what these represent. So again, they're beautiful, I wouldn't call them souvenirs, they're just beautiful appreciations that are in my home, and I'm happy to now share that with as many people who want to grab the source necklaces. I've also ordered mini crystal wands as well too. That will also contain crop circle energy in it as well too, and that will also be used for healing. So that's going to be coming about a month or so. These beautiful kind of miniature crystal wands, where I'll be putting the source center vibration and of course the crop circle energy into as well. So you basically have necklaces, and you'll have the mini crystal wands as well too, that you'll be able to use both for healing purposes. Okay. So again, thank you for that, Maria. Let's go down the list here a bit more. I'm not sure if I missed another donation. No, I don't think I did. I think I covered the donation so far. Oh wait, here we go. Here's one from Babito7. Babito7 says, Adronis, how can people who stutter speak fluently? Okay, one moment. We thank you very much, Babito7, for your question. How are people able to speak clearly? You see, the whole idea of what happens is that these particular people who stutter often stutter due to traumas. Stuttering is actually a side effect of trauma. Now, this can relate to the idea in that sense of fear of public speaking. This can also relate to the idea in that sense of heavy guilt, heavy fear. This can also relate to the nature of abuse. But the ability of one who stutters is basically someone who's been abused, one who has been hurt, one who has been traumatized. That's the nature of stuttering. It's that you're not able to bring your words together. You may talk too fast. You may stumble upon your own words. People may not be able to understand exactly what you're saying. People in that sense who try to speak very quickly just to try to get the message out basically have a background of some particular type of trauma that has enabled them to do that. Because they still don't feel that what they offer is valuable. And they just want to get the information out quickly so that you can take your eyes off of them. That's really what it comes down to. That's not just the nature of stuttering. It's the idea in that sense of a great deal of fear. But stuttering is the side effect pertaining to the trauma in question. Now, Brad himself in the past was also quite a stutterer, where he would speak very, very fast. He would stumble over his own words, and he had a very difficult time being able to convey himself to others because of the feeling that all of these eyes were on him, and he just wanted to spew the information to come out so that the eyes could therefore be taken off of him. But throughout the years, he has worked together with deep states of meditation, where that nature of stuttering now fundamentally starts to reduce itself. And this is something that you could relate to, pertaining to that of conversational meditation. where you are meditating and simply enabling a fluent flow of words coming together appropriately for many to understand. Perhaps not all, because you cannot appease everybody. But you are noticing that there is a fundamental increase in the natural confidence of you being able to convey a fluent dialect, regardless of what language you speak. Because it's not about the language. It's all about the words and the flow that is coming through you, being the channel for that language. Moving yourself into the fluent wave. When you are speaking, there is no fear. When you are speaking, there is no ridicule. There is no hurt. There is no wound. There is no abuse. There is no fighting. There is no defending. There is no ego trying to put up a gigantic shield, trying to defend oneself with one's words, or trying to feel ashamed of speaking and just stumbling over yourself and then feeling very, very embarrassed and humiliated afterwards. You see, again, everything pertaining to trauma will affect all avenues pertaining to expression. This will come through words. This will come through your walk. This will come to how you make eye contact with people. It all comes down to traumas. And when you start to align with conversational meditation, just as Brad is doing right now, communicating through us where the words themselves hold their own power through a fluidity and fluent algorithm. And that is all it takes, is the ability to get yourself into calmness, get yourself into the center, and just let a conversation happen without any feeling of expectations of the words that need to come. Because this is all Brad is really doing with us. He is interlocked together with us as one, integrated here, and letting the conversation unfold itself naturally without any expectations relating to how the words need to come through him. So it really comes down to seeing everything relating to that which you have had difficulty with as a sadhana, as a meditative practice, as a disciplining of yourself. But discipline not meant in a harsh way. It's just a matter of repetitive practice. So therefore, it does not matter what language you speak. It does not matter if you're bilingual, multilingual, etc. It's the matter of the channel, the vessel that is conveying the algorithm pertaining to the words, becoming themselves clear and concisely. Even if you are not able to pick up the entire credence pertaining to what is being shared, the words in their own power being conveyed fluently and fluidically will now start to impact you on a subconscious level. Which means all of you are aware of the conversation before, during, and after these conversations happen already. That's the nature of yourselves. You're already receiving the transmission of thought. The words are simply the carriers of the thought, materializing themselves in this way to have a beginning, a middle, and an end to a conversation. But the conversation itself has already reached you by thought. Something also to look into. All right? We thank you for your question. Okay. Thank you, Babito. That was a very good question as well, too. Yes, certainly when I started beginning this path in 2008, I was very much a stutterer, right? I would stutter over my own words. I would talk so fast. I would try and get all this information out because I wanted all that energy of people looking at me to get off me, right? Okay, so if you talk about this and you do this and this happens and this happens and so what happens after that? Okay, bye. Okay, so that is very much how I was. Starting this path as well too. I came from a very fragile, abusive past, okay, and that was something that was carried with me. And now I like to think I talk quite a bit better, right? I don't say I talk perfectly, but I certainly talk a lot better from how I used to. So that is very much the case. The whole nature of stuttering is a side effect of traumas. Okay, so that's something we need to look into. Like I said, look into conversation-based meditation. That's a good way to start. All right, thank you for your question. For some reason, Babito, your donation did not pop up in the main screen here. So this is what I mean, guys. There's times where donations come in, but I'm not actually seeing the alert coming up on the top chat. Babito's did not come up. So that's very weird. YouTube, you need to fix some bugs here, man. All right, so let's go up the list here a little bit more. I think I covered all the donation-based questions, yeah? Okay, here's one from Carol Ann. Carol Ann says, "Hi Brad, I have a question. What is going on with the talk of them trying to implement these 15-minute cities?" Thank you. Well, Carol Ann, like I said, this is something you're not really needing to concern about for much longer, right? Because we're looking into something that is going to be very earth-shattering, right? I've had a lot of people talk to me about 15-minute cities, okay? I personally have not experienced any of them, okay? And I can't say that's the same for everybody, but I have not personally experienced the nature of 15-minute cities. And I've been to Alberta, right? I've been around the area of Banff. I haven't gone all the way to Edmonton or Calgary, but I basically have crossed the border between BC and Alberta. I had no problems whatsoever, okay? So I can't say. I'm not sure if people maybe in their own way are experiencing this, but I have not experienced any particular account of a 15-minute city, okay? So again, if you guys aren't too sure what that means, based in that sense, you can only go beyond a certain boundary before they try to deny you to go any further. But I have not encountered anything of that nature, okay? So I know there's a lot of talk. Guys, what is talked about and what is actually done are two different things, okay? And the internet is full of gossip. It's information porn, right? That is what the internet is all about. And fortunately, 90 to 95% of the stuff you read on the internet is absolute garbage, okay? 90 to 95%, okay? Even if you're just scrolling through TikTok and you read a lot about these posts and that stuff, even if they're talking about truth or information, a lot of it is still garbage, okay? Most of it is garbage. There's some in that sense that are kind of like the diamonds in the rough, where they actually start talking about the real things, right? I'm hearing like people talking about the Anunnaki and stuff like that. And they have such a sterile, thin, narrow view of what they even think the Anunnaki is, right? And this is coming from big shows like Joe Rogan and stuff like that. They still don't have a clue, right? They're talking about Nibiru and they're talking about Planet X and stuff like that. And guys, no, this is like debilitating psyop garbage. Okay, it's hot garbage is basically what I would say. And it's still not bringing about the whole truth of the matter. Okay, I won't get into the Anunnaki and Nibiru and all that sense because I've talked about it before. But again, just be very mindful about what you're deciding to put your pin into regarding information online. Okay, it's 90 to 95% of it is garbage. Okay, and it's better off just turning off your phone, turning off your computer, sitting on your couch and meditating. Okay, because that's where you're getting the 100% pure truth, is when you go within and you center yourself and you're there. Okay, that's the pure truth. What you hear on Facebook, on YouTube, and TikTok about all these conspiracy things about fear porn and so forth, again, a majority of that is garbage. Okay, very few people that I'm seeing are actually starting to share truthful things, right? It's not a very long list at all. A lot of it is really just hot garbage, right? Even our science is still not quite understood yet, right? Until you start getting into consciousness, vibration, science, then you're starting to walk the right path. If you see a person who's talking about consciousness science, who's actually starting to talk about the torus field, who's starting to talk about the true nature of magnetism, when you start to look in the idea about how magnetism correlates together with everything with life, now you're meeting someone who's getting it. Okay? People, again, still are not quite getting it yet, right? There's just all this mainstream science nonsense, and a lot of it is garbage, right? Is it a particle or is it a wave? They're both garbage, okay? It's about magnetism. It's about the dielectric. It's about the torus field. It's about the hyperboloid. It's about the ether. And if no one's talking about that, they have no idea what they're talking about. Simple as that. And there's still a lot of hot garbage out there. So just be careful with that, guys. That's all I can suggest. Let's see. Sunny Sis says, how will the jabby jabs, I'll just call it like that, be helped once they find out this is a bioweapon? Well, the whole idea is even if you have had the inoculation, there's ways to reverse that, right? Some people are talking about zinc. Some people are talking about the nature of working with carbon-60. Some people are also talking about the nature of ozone therapy, okay? Ozone therapy works really good, right? Even with my healing code cards, with the body deck, you have the biotoxin eliminator. You can work with that, with the etherics technology. It can help you with that as well too. Like I said, with the etherics technology, guys, people are starting to reverse autism. People are starting to reverse Parkinson's disease by sleeping on a bed kit. Okay? This, again, is something that's available to you. It's not going to be mainstream because I don't want etherics mainstream. I want etherics to stay between the grassroots and the underground, right? I want to still keep it as a addition, but at the same time an alternative. I don't want it on CNN. I don't want it on MSNBC. I don't want etherics in that way. I want etherics to stay grassroots and organic, okay? And that's why I basically rely a lot on my supporters who are passing the word around about etherics, okay? Not about me just trying to get on these big media, right? Big tech companies or anything. I don't want any of that garbage. Right? I want to keep etherics very much in the grassroots, in the organic stream. So that is, again, an option right there. So there's always other things that you can look into, right? You got to look into these things. Like I said, I've heard great things about ozone. I've taken ozone as well too. Ozone works great. It really helps the body. Working with yoga works really great. Working with the healing code cards, the etherics card decks, working with the etherics technology, right? Working with your own source is the greatest of all, okay? There's no limits in regards to what you can do other than what you limit yourself to think that you're capable of doing. That's it. That's the kind of the catch-22 here, okay? Thank you very much. Okay, let's go down the list here. I'm just looking for more questions. Again, if you guys have questions, feel free to put it in the chat. If you want to leave a donation, that will put your question first in line, okay? So I'm not doing any healing requests, guys. I will be seeing if I can get back to healing requests next week. Okay, this one is basically just a Q&A episode today, all right? Again, you can also just go to my website if you want me to do some healing on you. You can just go to newearthteachings.com. Okay, and you can grab either a private session or a 3-question email session. Any of those is fine as well too. Of course, I'm doing yoga nidra hypnosis sessions as well too. That's gone very well, by the way. I've really enjoyed doing the yoga nidra. Okay, I'm just looking at some other questions as I go down here very slowly, guys. Okay, yeah, other people are feeling it as well too. Basically, what I've shared, and it's not just me, guys. There's a couple other people I've seen who are starting to see this as well too. I don't know if Janine has talked about this or not. But that is something that's definitely going to be coming forward here. Okay. So this is from MLK Star Fashion. When you said taking out the money from the bank, how long would this issue last for? Is that meaning that people will lose money or money will be back? I can't say, right? It's just the idea that the feeling I'm getting is that people are going to have wanting to get money out of their banks. I think because there's going to be some bank exposures, right? I think people are going to have much more of a mainstream realization that there is a huge, of course, corruption with the banking cartel, and that people are going to withdraw money. I think it's the idea of a threat, that maybe in that sense that something is happening pertaining to their money. I can't say what the connecting event is that's going to cause people to take money frantically out of ATMs, but something in regards to some sort of huge banking cartel exposure is my feeling that is going to lead to that. So, like I said, we're just seeing these, again, BOMB shells coming down here and basically exploding. And this is what's going to cause an eruption of revealing, so that people are going to start acting and taking money out of their banks, out of their ATMs. That's the last thing that the banks want, right? They don't want you taking your money out of their bank account, right? Because they don't even have enough physical money to take out, relating to the amount of zeros that you may have on your bank account statement, okay? It's nothing but numbers on a piece of paper. It's nothing but numbers on a screen. They can't fulfill that. If you got $50,000 in your account and you want $50,000 out the next day, it ain't gonna happen. Okay, it might take them several weeks or a couple months before they can even get that accumulation of money to give to you, okay? So the idea of taking so much money out of the ATMs is going to cripple them tremendously. In fact, that's something I'd probably recommend. Everybody started taking money out of ATMs right now, the banks would be crippled to the point where they couldn't even function. Okay? Because people are just, especially if you're going to the branch and you're saying, okay, I want to withdraw my money. Oh, we can't do that. We're losing millions. We're losing billions. Everybody starts doing this. And that's going to take them down just like that. Right? So my feeling is that something of that nature is going to come out. I don't know what the connecting event, I don't know what the connecting point is that's going to enable that to happen, other than some type of large exposure. Okay? How long is that going to last for? As I was estimating, probably between 2 weeks to 2 months. Okay? So this is why I would suggest, and I can't, don't put your hat on that. So, okay, Brad says 2 weeks to 2 months, and I got some, oh no, guys, I'm giving you a rough ballpark shot here. Okay? Just in regards to what I'm feeling, between 2 weeks to 2 months. It could be a little bit shorter, it could be a little bit longer. Okay? But what I'm suggesting, it would be a good idea for you to take some money out now, right? So that you don't have to go ahead and face this wave when it hits, because it is going to hit. Okay? This whole ATM scandal situation is going to hit. Okay? We don't have a timestamp for it, but it is going to hit. Okay? The idea of government shutdown is going to hit. We don't have a direct timestamp of when that is going to happen, but it certainly is coming around the horizons. You have to watch the signposts. Okay? And with the signposts, they are telling you that this is coming closer. So that's what I can share about that. Okay? Very important. Just to remember that. Okay, so Yun Mun says, I hear that there will be a new US dollar coming soon. No more Federal Reserve, but US note. Yes, I've heard something similar as well too. Okay, that there will be new banknotes coming together. It certainly will not come through a Federal Reserve, or if it does come through a Federal Reserve, it's been overhauled. Okay, but I think it will be probably much more the former rather than the latter. Okay, because my feeling is the Federal Reserve is already being taken down. Like I said, they're already in checkmate as well too. Like all of these places are basically in checkmate right now. We've taken down all your safeguards, we've taken down all of your defenses, we've taken down all of the barriers that you've put around yourself, and now we're just ready to pounce on the king. And that chessboard analogy is basically referring to everything relating to every stone that represents a human system. They're all in checkmate right now, and they're just waiting. We're just waiting. There needs to be a big move here, a big mistake of a move, and then pounce. Okay? And that's exactly what's happening right now. There's going to be something that's going to be very incredible. And like I said, I'm not trying to give a timestamp, but like I said, I'm thinking probably around the end of the year to the start of early next year. Okay? But that's just my rough wave right now. I cannot give an exact timestamp because we've done that before, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And that's really where people will base your entire information on. Oh, what's the timestamp? What's the timestamp? When's the time? When's the time? When's the time for this? Guys, it always doesn't come down to time. It's not always about time. It's about that this event is in the queue. Okay? That event pertaining to COVID was in the queue. Adronis was even sharing about this new event that was going to come together, and he was trying to lift people up before that event came together. He felt it happening. Okay? But there was no timestamp relating to that happening. Right? It's the same thing with a lot of these world events that have happened. They're in the queue of the ether, and they come together when everything's astrologically aligned for it to show up. And we don't know when that is, but we know it's coming because it's standing in line, and it has so much incredible momentum behind it that it needs to show itself. But again, other events need to come together to function as its trigger so the doors can open so that this event can come together. I can pretty much guarantee you that these two events that I've spoken of will definitely happen. Okay? When are they going to happen? I can't be definite about that. But they are most definitely going to happen. Okay? So that's what I can share. The event, yes. The time, don't know. We're just giving rough ballpark figures. Okay? Carol says, do you see a debt jubilee coming soon? When the new financial system comes online, yes. Okay? Again, that's the last thing that a lot of these controllers want to have happen. Right? They don't want to forgive your debt. They want to give you more debt. Okay? Or if they do try to give you a little bit of debt forgiveness, they're going to try and pull back and try and put you in some more debt. Okay? It's a crooked system, and this system cannot go on. It has to die. And that's basically what we're about to see. We're about to see it completely die. It needs to. Has to die. There's no more room for it. Okay, let's go down the list here a bit more. Should we leave the country? No, because this is going to impact the entire planet, guys. It doesn't matter where you go. Unless you got a rocket ship that goes to Mars, that goes to the moon, right? Then maybe. But that's not going to be too pleasant itself either. If you're on Earth, you are going to face this. Don't run from problems, right? Work with them. Like I said, what I'm sharing with you guys right now is a worldwide situation, okay? That is a collective event. And like I said, when you pay attention to the signs, you know how to keep yourself completely centered relating to the whole situation, right? Through that centeredness, you'll say, okay, go to the bank, take some money out. You'll be fine. Okay, great, I did that, no problem, right? And I'm putting this money away for a rainy day. I've already done it, it's taken care of, it's done. And you will not be affected by this. Go into your center, listen, and then act. And that's going to take care of everything here, right? The whole idea, and I'm going to make a video about this here very soon, the number one cause for suffering on the planet is reaction. Okay? Reaction is responsible for all suffering. How you react to a situation where as soon as you hear a situation, you respond with dread, you're going to go through suffering. Okay? You hear a situation, you're just consumed by anger, you're going to go through suffering. You hear a situation, doesn't do anything to you, and you're free. You're free from the brunt of what you thought that situation would bring to you. It's a tidal wave that just passes through you like a ghost. You are learning not to react, because react is the cause to the effect of suffering. Suffering is just an effect. Suffering is not a cause. Okay? It's like gravity. Right? People say that there's a law of gravity. There is no law of gravity. Gravity is an effect. It's an after effect. Okay? There is no looking at suffering as a cause. Suffering is not a cause. Suffering is an effect. And it is the cause of reaction. Okay? Of programming, of conditioning, that therefore generates a reaction to think that you're suffering. Okay? It's your patterns. It's your mind patterns. It's your emotional patterns. It's everything that represents your life patterns that are skewed. It's you out of alignment. As long as you're out of alignment, you will suffer. When you come to center, you will be immune from all suffering. It's really what it comes down to. It's what the masters have been trying to tell us for thousands of years, right? Come in the center, be still and know that I am God. It's really all it comes down to. Okay. Just give me a moment here, guys. I'm just looking over the questions here. Okay. Okay, so we have a question here from Firestorm. Firestorm says, hi, Brad and everyone here. Do we know what's really going on with the fires in Maui? Well, guys, there's fires here in BC. Okay? There's fires in the United States. There's fires overseas. Okay? A lot of fires are happening. Why are these fires are happening? Because they're basically trying to create a whole new carbon tax. They're trying to blame this on climate change. Okay? All the fires that are taking place right now are all part of a political agenda for climate change. That's exactly their climate change spin that they're doing. Well, look at the Earth. It's going out of control. We're getting wildfires all over the place. We're getting fierce weather events all over the planet, when in fact they're the one that's geoengineering it. Climate change equals geoengineering. Global warming equals geoengineering. Okay? The entire event relating to natural disasters, which are not natural but artificial, right? You could say unnatural disasters, are all part of geoengineered agendas. Basically, again, trying to create a carbon tax, trying to tax more people, get more money out of their pockets. Greed, 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 greed. That's what it all comes down to, folks. Okay? Why has there been a slave trade? Because of greed. Why has there been a drug trade? Because of greed. Right? Why has there been human trafficking? Because of greed. Why has there been unnatural weather changes, fires all over the entire planet representing geoengineering? Because of greed. Okay? It is all greed based. It is all control based. because that is exactly how you make people afraid, and now you can program them. They are now susceptible to suggestion because you are aligning themselves into a state of fear, and now that you got them in fear, you can say whatever you want to them, and they will empty their pockets to you to think that they are safe. That's what it comes down to. We will scare the living crap out of the people on this planet and bleed them dry. That's what all of these events are about. Political, economical, educational, everything. It's bleeding you dry to keeping you in fear so that you'll empty your pockets and you'll feel safe from your dear little government. Okay? That's what it's all come down to. It's been like that since, thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Keep the people in fear so that they can empty their pockets so that we're rich, a few of us get wealthy while the rest suffer. Okay? This is where you need to learn to break the chain. This is where you come into your center and you are immune from those fearful situations. You see what they're really about. You educate others. They start getting what you're talking about. They now start to follow the same path. They come into center. They are no longer affected by the storm. They're no longer affected by the tidal wave. It passes right through them like a ghost. They pass it on, right? That's really what it comes down to. As long as you're in fear, you are a slave. As long as you are in fear, you will go through suffering. But as long as you are able to come here and be in your center, you are immune to it all. And now you can pass this on, and you can share this with others, which has certainly been my goal here for the past 15 years, right? And that's exactly what I've been trying to share with you guys. So again, all of these agendas have nothing to do with, unique situations that are happening on the earth. It's all greed-based. Everything that you would see that represents disasters are greed. Okay? China doing that to Tibet is greed. It's all greed. That's really what it comes down to. Stealing of resources, stealing of money, stealing of finances, stealing of everything valuable to put it into the very select few's pockets so the rest basically fall away, right? And they basically stay and they suffer. That's what it comes down to. That has been their business model for thousands of years. And it's not working anymore, and that's why they're panicking. Okay. Okay, so this is from Rise Awake. Rise Awake says, "Hi Brad, how are you? Can you look at what we can expect in Canada changing in the next 3 to 6 months? When do we get a white hat version of events here?" Well, that's basically what I've been talking about since the beginning of the program. Okay, so if you just arrived here, welcome. I would suggest just rewind this, go back to the beginning, and hear the information that I had to share, because that really is specifically for Canada and the US. Okay, like I said, stuff is happening for Europe, stuff is happening from Asia. Like I said, it may happen to you guys first, and it may happen to us second. But nonetheless, this is where I'm looking at Canada and US. I'm Canadian, right? That's why I'm looking at Canadian information, right? And I'm right above the United States. They're my neighbors, so I look into that stuff. I'm a Western guy, guys. So I will basically look into that stuff first, and then I'll look into other world events afterwards. But this is something that I needed to share together for the Western world. Okay, is Europe going to go through that? I feel like they will, but it's going to be a little bit more different from them. I don't know if it's going to be empty seats or anything of that nature. If it is, great, but I think this is going to be kind of something new that's going to unfold for them. I think it may represent the idea of a different unfolding of it. This may represent the idea of replacing of leaders or something of that nature. Perhaps it could be empty political buildings as well too. It's hard to say. We just have to see. I've basically just seen this for Canada and the US. I can't really comment on our other countries about it. But it wouldn't surprise me if it happens to them in somewhat of a similar way. But it could be something different as well too. Maybe something we have to look into. Why don't I go ahead and do a tarot reading on that? Okay, let's take a look at Europe. All right, and I'll do a tarot reading on this. And the question I'm just going to ask is, with what is looking to happen with Canada and the US pertaining to government shutdown, will this also be taking place in Europe? Okay, and I'll see what comes through the cards here. Okay, so the feeling I'm getting is that yes, it will happen to Europe as well too. Okay, so everything relating to the financial, relating to, we have the Queen of Pentacles here, so this is definitely representing a money card. Okay, is that there is going to be some very powerful shifts taking place. There needs to be a rebalancing, and from the past, of course, we have seen everything relating to turmoil, pertaining to government enforcement and so forth. A new shift definitely needs to happen. Okay, so everything's going to get turned upside down. So my feeling is yes, that what is looking to happen together with Canada and the United States is also going to happen to Europe. Okay, so Europe may also get empty buildings with government. This may be something that's worldwide. This may be something that spreads like wildfire. Okay, it may be something that may take its time. Again, some country does it first, and other countries follow suit, where there's just an emptying, maybe a demand for government shutdown, whatever it may be. Okay, but this is something I feel like that is going to spread throughout Europe. Okay, Europe is going to get hit with it too. So that's my feeling. Brad, what about Asia? And what about Australia? Right. So maybe just look. What about Africa? Okay, we'll look at the continents. Okay, we're not looking at the countries, but we'll look at the continents. Let's look at Asia next. Okay? Let's take a look at Asia. See what Asia is going through. Will Asia face something like this as well too? Will they have a government shutdown? Okay. Will they have empty buildings? Let's take a look here. Okay. I don't feel Asia is going to get a hit as hard. Okay, I don't feel like Asia is going to get a hit as hard. Okay, so it feels like there's some really big movements happening all around the continent of Asia right now. Okay, and it feels like there's some promising times ahead for Asia. So maybe they're ahead of the game. But again, here we go with the financial card, right? So there is going to be some charge. I think there may be some fluctuations of government shutdowns that may take place, but this is what's really going to strengthen the entire continent. Okay. So again, I'm just looking at continents here. It's going to take way too much time for me to do specificity regarding countries. Okay, way too many countries on the planet, not enough time to do that here on this program. Okay, so that's my feeling, is I don't think Asia will get hit as hard with government shutdowns, but I think there will be fluctuations of it for sure. Okay, but it looks like they're really starting to get things under control in Asia, and I don't think it's going to be maybe hit as hard as other countries who may not be so far ahead, or other continents, I should say. Let's take a look at Australia. Okay, we'll take a look at Australia. Will Australia themselves also have a government shutdown that is incoming, like Canada and the US? Most definitely. Okay, I feel like Australia is also going to get right. It's the idea of justice here, right? Something very, very cold that is awaiting to pounce on the dark forces, right? And this is going to be a very, very good thing for Australia as well too. Okay, so we're going to basically see the whole idea of, again, new leadership coming together, people starting to move much more with an empathic, an emotional connection to say, yes, we're going to do this. Emotions is going to guide the way. Here comes government shutdown, okay? And here comes resolution, right? Yes, Australia is also going to get hit hard with a government shutdown, okay? They may also have some financial challenges as well too, but I think they'll be kind of in the same boat as what I described with US and Canada, okay? So Australia has that. Okay, let's take a look now at Africa, and then we'll look at South America. Okay, so taking a look at Africa now. So will Africa too be having an upcoming event regarding government shutdown? Will government shutdown come to Africa like it will be for the United States and Canada? Okay, let's take a look. Oh yes, I'm almost getting almost identical cards here, just as I was with Australia. Okay, Africa is also going to get hit hard with government shutdown. Okay, it may be close to the majority of the world is going to start shutting down their government buildings. Right, the government is going to be completely flushed out. This looks like a synchronistic event that is going to take place. It looks like a timed event that goes really, really well with what I'm talking about here. With this is the present moment. Okay, so there's a lot of shifting going around. Ready for these things to pounce. Okay, and pulling the trigger. Pulling the hammer down, and watching these government, I say shadow governments, fall apart. Okay, this feels like it's a multiple trigger event. This is something that's going to be really quite big. Asia's kind of a little bit softer in many ways, but with North America, with Europe, with Australia, with Africa, okay, it looks like they are going to get severely impacted with this government shutdown. Okay, let's take a look finally at South America. Okay, see what South America is going through. Okay, so will South America also have an upcoming government shutdown like what is incoming for the United States and Canada? Okay, let's take a look at that. Similar cards, here we go again, right? Okay, yes, pretty much. Okay, the hammer is coming down, okay? And this is going to lead to some very big states of liberation, particularly for the South Americans, okay? Big surprises afoot, okay? Big surprises coming together, something that may just come right out of left field that we're not expecting. The whole idea of a reset, okay? A reset situation happening with South America. Moving forward, transitional government, transitional policies, right? A transitional shift that's taking place. So yes, South America is going to get it too. Okay? So again, this is just giving a very broad outlook on the continents of the planet. I'm not going to do Antarctica, okay? But basically that is what I'm getting. So the majority of the planet is going to face government shutdown. It could be around the same time, maybe it's a little bit after one another, but this feels like a coordinated event that is really just going to kind of take down the old governments in one fell swoop. We just have to watch the signposts and see what's going to come together. All right? So guys, we are out of time today. I want to thank you all for your questions. Thank you all for joining me here on the Signposts through Newer TV Live. If you guys like the Signposts and you want me to do it, then maybe what I'll do is I'll start doing a Friday show, okay? Where on Thursdays, it will be, actually, no, let me go back on Fridays, bringing Newer TV Live back to Fridays, and bringing the Signposts on Thursdays again, okay? If that's something you guys want, you can let me know in the comments section of this video. Like, Brad, bring back the Signposts, let's do it on Thursdays, and then do Newer TV Live on Fridays, okay? So I'm getting a little bit more extra time, so I will be able to bring 2 webcasts in per week. If that's something you guys want me to do, then just let me know in the comments section. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment on this video. Helps me out a lot as well too. Subscribe to the channel. Got some more videos to come as well too. Blessings to you all. Thank you for being here with me today, and I'll talk to you all next week. Again, I'll also have some more insight in regards to the next Etherics live stream, which should be coming up this Sunday. So again, you can check out the Etherics YouTube channel, which is just right here, just down below, youtube.com/@ethericsstore. You can join me there. Ignore that promo code above. That promo code is expired. It is actually August 20. So capital letters AUGUST and then the numbers 20. August 20. That will get you 20% off, and it's valid into the 14th of August. So you can check that out now. Etherics.co. Thanks, guys. Take care, and I'll talk to you next week. Om Shanti 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 Namaskar, and may it be well with you. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to New Earth Teachings on YouTube. Don't forget to check out our websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can do private sessions with me, and also etherics.co. And through Etherics, you'll be able to pick up your Healing Code Cards body deck, your mind deck, and your energy deck through Etherics. You will also be able to pick up the Etherbed kit. That is also on Etherics as well. Not to mention that you'll also be able to pick up some apparel and accessories that is also available on Etherex. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one. Om Shanti 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 Namaskar, and may it be well with you.